Chapter 91 Su Baijie takes action, grudges between the Sun and Moon Holy Emperor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Su Baijie heard it, she didn't take action immediately. She turned around with a smile on her face. Your Majesty Xuanhuan, Liyun was attracted to it when she saw that this box was pretty. Oh. It's pretty. I just don't know what's in it. While talking, Dongfang Yuan had already taken the box. Su Baijie did not grab it, but stood there and watched Dongfang Yuan open it. After Dongfang Yuan opened the box, a ray of light suddenly flashed out, shot into the statue, buzz. The statue began to change, aura emerged, and a shadow of consciousness escaped from the statue. Be careful, Your Majesty. Feng and Zhonglo felt this consciousness and immediately warned, blocking in front of Dongfang Yuan. Everyone's attention was attracted by this shadow at this moment. The appearance of this shadow looked exactly like the person in the statue. It's okay. Dongfang Yuan indicated that the two of them did not need to worry. He stepped forward and looked at the phantom with calm eyes. If I guess correctly, you should be the Sun and Moon Holy Emperor, right? You, who are you? At such a young age, your cultivation has reached such a level, that the Sun and Moon Holy Emperor looked at Dongfang Yuan and exclaimed in amazement. You don't need to know who I am. I came here to hunt for treasure. The treasure of the Sun and Moon. If you think I can do it, just give it to me. Dongfang Yuan's tone was neither humble nor arrogant at this moment. Even when facing the once all-powerful Sun and Moon Holy Emperor, he was not afraid at all, and even showed an unquestionable attitude. Qian Jiuyou and Su Baijie were all shocked. Dongfang Yuan dared to speak so frankly to the Sun and Moon Holy Emperor. Aren't he afraid of offending him? After all, this place was arranged by the Holy Emperor of the Sun and Moon, so there may be some countermeasures. However, the Sun and Moon Holy Emperor still had a good vision. He seemed to see how extraordinary Dongfang Yuan was, and was not angry at his words. From Dongfang Yuan's perspective, he already respects him very much. I can give you the treasures of the Sun and the Moon and my inheritance. But there is one thing I need you to promise me. As long as you agree, I will immediately hand over all the real treasures of the Sun and Moon to you. The Sun and Moon Holy Emperor said. Say. Dongfang Yuan said calmly. When you are strong enough, I want you to go to Zongshengshu and help me kill someone. His name is the Nine Swords Holy Emperor. The Sun and Moon Holy Emperor replied. Nine Swords Holy Emperor. Okay, I promise you. Dongfang Yuan agreed directly after thinking for a moment. It is good. I will hand over the real treasure of the Sun and Moon to you now. That the Sun and Moon Holy Emperor was very straightforward and seemed to have great trust in Dongfang Yuan. You believe me so much? Aren't you afraid that I will regret what you say? Dongfang Yuan asked curiously. Ha 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 ha. I have only missed one person in my life. But you, I believe I won't get it wrong. You have a proud heart and the power of an emperor. For a person like you, you will not go back on something you promised, nor would you bother to go back on it. That the Sun and Moon Holy Emperor determined his vision at this moment and pinned all his hopes on Dongfang Yuan. Dongfang Yuan nodded. If I guess correctly, the reason for your death should be caused by the Nine-Sword Saint Emperor you mentioned, right? Good. Back then, I was attacked from behind by him, and my soul was stabbed by his 9 holy swords. It was directly wounded to the source. In the end, I could only leave the treasures of the Sun and the Moon. When a destined person comes here, I will give all the inheritance in this life to he. The condition is that this person must agree to avenge me and kill the 9 swords. The Sun and Moon Holy Emperor replied with a slightly lonely look. I will definitely do what I promise you. Don't worry, 9-Sword Saint Emperor, I will let him suffer to death. Once I say this, the world will never change. Dongfang Yuan said confidently. The Sun and Moon Holy Emperor didn't talk nonsense and nodded happily and gratefully. Then, his phantom condensed into a line of inherited light, floating in Dongfang Yuan's palm. This is the lifelong inheritance of the Sun and Moon Holy Emperor. Boom. At this time, the statue also cracked. I saw a flash of moonlight inside, and a bead of light floating in the air. Half of it was the blazing sun, and half of it was the moon. In addition, there were 10 puppet warriors who also appeared on the field. These, could they be the legendary sun and moon puppets under the sun and moon holy emperor? Xian Jiuyou looked at these puppets and couldn't help but guess. It's the sun and moon puppet. This bead should be the sun and moon bead. Dongfang Yuan had previously learned from Feng Mabai's memory about the rumors about the sun and moon holy emperor during his lifetime. In addition to being a strong man in the holy emperor realm, he also has 10 puppets in his hands. They are all existences at the 6th level of the Saint King realm, and the only thing that controls them is the sun and moon bead in front of them. Dongfang Yuan took the sun and moon pearl and his consciousness sank into it. The 10 puppets suddenly reacted and moved as they pleased. Dongfang Yuan held the sun and moon pearl and could control them even though they were thousands of miles away. His Majesty. There are 10 puppets, but there is only one sun and moon pearl. If this is to be divided equally, I'm afraid. Medusa suddenly spoke up at this moment. She also glanced at Xian Jiuyou and the others, but did not continue to say anything. Dongfang Yuan was lost in thought and did not answer, but Xian Jiuyou naturally understood what he meant. Emperor Yuan, this sun and moon puppet is a legacy specially left to you by the Holy Emperor of Sun and Moon, so naturally it is not included in the equal division. My Qian family can only share those cultivation resources. Xian Jiuyou is very knowledgeable about current affairs. How could he not understand that the words Medusa said were probably what Dongfang Yuan signaled her to say? It is good. Let's do this. I won't take advantage of you. How about your Qian family taking, % of those cultivation resources, and my Tianyan Dynasty taking, %? Dongfang Yuan also spoke calmly. After all, compared with the sun and moon puppet, the value of those cultivation resources is much different. Thank you very much, Emperor Yuan. Xian Jiuyou and others expressed their sincere gratitude, but at this moment, Su Baijie seized the opportunity and suddenly took action. The aura of the great sage burst out, and everyone in the Qian family was thrown away by the aura and fell to the ground. Her goal is the inheritance of the sun and moon holy emperor and the sun and moon pearl. She was extremely fast, like a gust of wind, and snatched these two things from Dongfang Yuan's hands. Fei Peng and Zhonglu wanted to take action, but Dongfang Yuan signaled them not to worry yet. Dongfang Yuan's face was calm. He turned his eyes and looked at Su Baijie. Mrs. Li. What are you doing? No. You are not Li Yun. Bastard, who the hell are you? Several elders of the Qian family did not react at all and were still in confusion at this moment. Xian Jiuyou felt the aura on Su Baijie's body and immediately knew that this person was definitely not his concubine. Chapter 92 Feng Gutian arrives in the Northern Territory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Giggle. Master Qian, I'm really embarrassed to have kept this secret from you for so long. Su Baijie smiled happily. Now that she had obtained the sun and moon pearl, she could control 10 sun and moon puppets. The situation was already in her hands. She was in no hurry at all. I saw her take off her disguise and reveal her true appearance. She has a slender waist, long legs, full breasts and hips, graceful curves, a charming figure, and is extremely beautiful. Especially the snow-white scarf around her neck gave men a sense of fatal temptation. At this time, Dongfang Yuan was also a little excited in his heart. The charm of a mature woman is definitely not comparable to those of ordinary girls, and this Su Baijie is the best among mature women. Absolutely. Absolutely awesome. You, who are you? Where's my Lil? What did you do to her? Xian Jiuyou looked at Su Baijie with angry eyes and asked anxiously. Master Qian, don't worry. Your woman is sleeping well in the Qian family's woodshed. I didn't kill her. You can see her when you go back to the Qian family. Su Baijie said calmly, with a slightly playful look on her face. She turned her eyes and looked at Dongfang Yuan. Dongfang Yuan, you have really shocked me these days. I was planning to kill you. But after my observation over this period of time, I decided to give you a chance. Oh. What kind of opportunity is this? Dongfang Yuan looked amused. It's simple. You surrender to me from today on, and I won't kill you. On the contrary, with your evil talent, I will reuse you and focus on training you, how about it? Su Baijie said in a serious tone. It sounds quite tempting. It's just a pity that if you want me to surrender, no one in this world can do it. Dongfang Yuan said without fear. Why are you so stubborn? Now that the sun and moon puppets are under my control, I know that Medusa's strength is extraordinary. If you join forces with her, I may not even be your opponent. But now, the situation has changed. You should make a good choice, otherwise. I will have no choice but to kill you with regret. Su Baijie's tone was charming and even more playful, and the change in her expression was truly a beauty's curse. Mrs. Su is very confident. But I do have an idea here. That means Mrs. Su will be my emperor's concubine, including the Tiandi Pavilion, and surrender to our Tianyan Dynasty. I can guarantee your eternal happiness. Dongfang Yuan said with a smile. You, how do you know my identity? That at this time, Su Baijie was obviously shocked. She didn't understand how Dongfang Yuan learned her identity. Mrs. Su, not only do I know that you are the wife of the pavilion master of Tiandi Pavilion, but I also know your background. 9 tails. Dongfang Yuan hesitated to speak, and then smiled. Because Qian Jiuqiu and the others were here, he didn't say anything clearly. Su Baijie's face was horrified at this moment, and her inner emotions suddenly stirred up a storm. Her true identity is from the 9-tailed fox clan, and she has not told anyone, not even the Tiandi Pavilion. How did Dongfang Yuan know this? Su Baijie was horrified when she thought about it carefully. Her true body was her biggest secret. It's about her life and safety. Now Dongfang Yuan already knows. In this case, we might as well stop doing anything and silence him immediately. Humph. Dongfang Yuan, if you want to blame, just blame yourself for knowing too much. That I saw that Su Baijie was very decisive and used the sun and moon beads to control the sun and moon puppets and killed Dongfang Yuan directly. Emperor Yuan, be careful. Xian Jiuzheng and the others immediately exclaimed. Dongfang Yuan smiled slightly. The next moment, he stretched out his finger, and an unparalleled domineering force directly suppressed the 10 sun and moon puppets. Unable to move, no matter how Su Baijie mobilized, the 10 puppets could not exert any power. This. Your cultivation base. Su Baijie was horrified, realizing the horror of Dongfang Yuan's cultivation, and her face turned pale with fear. Unfortunately, before she could react, Dongfang Yuan had already appeared in front of her. He hugged her directly, and Dongfang Yuan took back the 2 things. Dongfang Yuan's aura at the peak of the Saint King realm directly made it impossible for Su Baijie to mobilize her power. Being forcibly hugged by Dongfang Yuan, he felt the softness of her body. You let me go. Dongfang Yuan. You are shameless. Su Baijie struggled frantically with a look of disgust on her face, but unfortunately it had no effect at all. Qian Jiuqiu and other members of the Qian family looked at a loss at this moment, not knowing what to do. Su Baijie, you want to rob me of my things, and you also want to take my life. I didn't kill you. I've already opened the door to you. You should think carefully about the idea I proposed earlier. Next, I will lead the Tianyan Dynasty into the sea area. As a force outside the sea area, you, Tiandi Pavilion, will bear the brunt of it. Surrender or be destroyed. These are the only 2 options. If you persist in your obsession, I can send you to be with Feng Jingyao. Dongfang Yuan shot a burst of power into Su Baijie's body, sealing her entire body. Su Baijie's face was full of anger and she said angrily, do you think I'm afraid of death? Kill me if you can. If you want to get me with this, it's just a dream. Su Baijie said harshly. Dongfang Yuan was not angry, but just smiled calmly. If I want to deal with you, I have many ways to deal with you. Medusa, I will leave her to you first. Take her back to the palace. Master Qian, please move the things separately. Yes, Your Majesty. Yes, Emperor Yuan. Afterwards, Medusa took Su Baijie and left first. after all the members of the Dongfang Yuan and Qian families distributed the cultivation resources from the sun and moon treasures, they all returned to their respective factions. Dongfang Yuan temporarily placed the 10 sun and moon puppets in the secret realm of nothingness. Now in the secret realm of nothingness, the members of the Destruction Legion and the Blood Rain Legion worked together to build splendid palaces. Forming a dense palace complex, it is gradually developing into a real small world, and Dongfang Yuan also has plans to turn the Void Secret Realm into a base camp for the Tianyan Dynasty, Northern Territory, border. At this time, a figure flew over from the distance of the sea and arrived at the border of the Northern Territory. This man was wearing the robes of the Eastern Holy Land, standing tall in the sky with a calm expression, and a murderous anger on his face, looking at the Northern Territory city under his feet. Millions of human beings from the Northern Territory live in it. Tianyan Dynasty, you need to pay the price for what you have done. That I saw this man, exuding powerful holy power at the level of the great saint, covering the entire sky. In the cities below, many human warriors were frightened by this aura and fell to the ground, trembling with fear. Feng Gutian gathered strength in his palm and blasted a ray of holy light directly towards the city. Today, he will massacre the entire Northern Territory. Let the world see how serious the consequences will be for anyone who dares to offend their Donggu Holy Land. P.S. The author of Chidu is begging for gifts and reminders. Woo woo woo, please, there are almost no rewards for this book, and the gift list is very low. Chapter 93 Killing and Punishing Hearts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. And just when Feng Gutian's holy light of power was about to crash down, an arrow suddenly shot from a distance, with the power of flames, as if it was like a flaming red bird, and was shot out immediately. Feng Gutian's holy light offensive. Who is it? Feng Gutian frowned and immediately looked towards the direction where the arrow light came from. I saw the figures of Xuanhuan and Arrow God coming from a distance. Xuanhuan looked disdainful and said proudly, Feng Gutian, the two of us have been waiting for you here for a long time under the orders of His Majesty Emperor Yuan. Now Xuanhuan's cultivation level is also at the 7th level of the Great Saint Realm, and there is an Arrow God at the peak of the Great Saint Realm beside him. Even if he had a head-on confrontation with Feng Gutian, he was not afraid at all. People from Dongfang Yuan. Humph. You are courting death. Feng Gutian locked onto the two of them, gathered strength in his palms to attack, and was about to take action. Wait a moment. Feng Gutian, don't you want to see what your daughter has become like now? Xuanhuan said unhurriedly. Feng Gutian paused his attack and frowned. What do you mean? Xuanhuan took out a picture stone, projected its image in mid-air, and said with a smile, if you look at this, you will understand. Xuanhuan looked at the projection screen. Gradually, when he saw the pain and torture his daughter was suffering, and even being trampled by wild beasts, his heart felt like a knife being twisted, and his heart ached endlessly. At this moment, his expression had completely changed, his face was filled with absolute anger, and his mind was completely overwhelmed by hatred. Xuanhuan looked at the change in his expression, and he knew it in his heart. The heart killing has been completed. Tianyan Dynasty, you are seeking death. Feng Gutian seemed to have gone crazy, his pupils were red and bloodshot, with strong hatred and murderous intent in his eyes. He directly attacked Xuanhuan and the two of them. Judging from his posture, the power of the holy light gathered into countless sword energy, trying to break Xuanhuan and the two into thousands of pieces. Destroy. However, the arrow god did not tolerate him at all. At this moment, he opened the flaming bow and shot out arrows with huge power like a blazing sun. The temperature of the entire sky rose instantly, as if a blazing sun descended and burned everything. All of Feng Gutian's sword energy was directly melted by the arrow god's arrow light, and the arrow light shot out of the air at a thunderous speed, without leaving even an afterimage, directly piercing Feng Gutian's body. Puff! How is this possible? Feng Gutian's face was horrified and he couldn't believe the scene in front of him. His body was knocked away, leaving a huge bloody hole in his chest. Before he had time to react, Xuanhuan suddenly appeared behind him and hit him hard on the back of the head with a palm. The holy power at the level of the great saint blasted into Feng Gutian's mind, making him feel as if his brain was going to explode. What? Feng Gutian was severely injured for the second time in a row, and Xuanhuan's full blow directly hurt the origin of his soul. The seventh heaven of the Great Saint Realm. The pinnacle of the Great Saint Realm. How could you be in the Great Saint Realm? Feng Gutian was seriously injured, blood kept coming out of his mouth, and he was very frightened and confused inside. How could the cultivation of these two people have improved so much in such a short period of time? This is not normal. This is the consequence of provoking my Tianyan Dynasty. Xuanhuan didn't talk nonsense, and then directly destroyed Feng Gutian's entire body with one blow. And all his limbs were cut off. The scene was bloody and cruel. Feng Gutian turned into a human stick and hit the ground heavily. His face turned pale with fright and he was still in shock. He still wanted to struggle, but unfortunately Xuanhuan, who flew down, stepped on his chest. I never thought that one day, the high-ranking elders of the Holy Land would be stepped on by me, Xuanhuan. This feeling is so good. Ha 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 ha. Xuanhuan laughed crazily and wantonly while crushing all of Feng Gutian's internal organs with his feet. What? I can't be a ghost. Feng Gutian screamed in heartrending pain, and his eyes exploded in pain. The last words were only half spoken, because the injuries were too severe and his life was completely extinguished. The arrow god stood tall in the air, looking at Xuanhuan who seemed to be climaxing. He couldn't help but wonder, is this old man crazy? Why don't you just kill someone? Are you so happy? Later, after the two disposed of Feng Gutian's body, they returned to the Tianyan Dynasty to resume their lives. Inside Tianyan Palace, in Dongfang Yuan's dormitory, Han Wanxiang, Qian Xinro, and Medusa were sitting aside. Only Xiao Qingli was not there. Although she was pregnant, she still insisted on setting up the 9 nether spiritual array, and Dongfang Yuan had no objection. After all, Xiao Qingli could improve his cultivation a lot, which would do him no harm. As for Qian Xinro and Han Wanxiang, their cultivation levels are now at the saint level. Dongfang Yuan gave them, including Xiao Qingli, the 9th rank great cultivation pill, allowing them to ascend to the saint realm and at least have some ability to protect themselves. At this moment, Su Baijie was tied to a chair with a bad face. No matter whether Qian Xinro or Han Wanxiang took the initiative to talk to her, she remained silent. My beloved concubines, the emperor is here. At this time, Dongfang Yuan's voice sounded, and his figure also walked in. I have seen your majesty. Qian Xinro and others saluted him one after another. Okay, dear concubine, you two are pregnant, don't be tired, sit down. After finishing speaking, Dongfang Yuan looked at Su Baijie. Look at this, are you still persisting? Your Majesty, Sister Su seems to be quite resentful towards your Majesty, and now she won't listen to anyone else's words. Qian Xinro said helplessly. Okay, I understand. Xinro, you three go down first. I'll talk to Mrs. Su. Dongfang Yuan came over with a fruit plate and motioned to several people. Yes. Concubine, please retire. Qian Xinro and the other 3 also left the dormitory. At this time, only Dongfang Yuan and Su Baijie were left. Dongfang Yuan directly moved a chair and sat in front of Su Baijie. He picked up a small cherry and fed it to Su Baijie's mouth. Su Baijie turned her face away. Although her cultivation was imprisoned, she still refused to give in. Dongfang Yuan was not surprised and said with a smile, Mrs. Su, according to the information investigated by this emperor, the master of the Tiandi Pavilion is probably dead long ago, right? For so many years, Mrs. Su has been using seclusion as an excuse. In fact, she has tried every means to conceal the news of her death. How is it? Is this emperor right? After hearing this, Su Baijie's expression changed slightly, but she still endured it and remained silent. Seeing this, Dongfang Yuan turned around and ate the cherry himself, and then said, I know why you want the treasure of the sun and the moon, and I can tell you clearly. Within 2 months, Tiandi Pavilion will inevitably be destroyed. If you don't want to watch the destruction of Tiandi Pavilion, don't make a bad face for me. Otherwise, I can also let you feel what it would be like to have a mental breakdown caused by cold violence. Dongfang Yuan used a very calm tone and threatened both softly and hard. Chapter 94 Su Baijie Situation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sure enough, when Su Baijie heard this, she couldn't help but feel worried. Since you know that I belong to the nine-tailed fox clan, you should also know why I escaped from the central holy continent to the sea. You want to get me. Once the matter is discovered, you and the Tianyan Dynasty will not be able to escape. If you are willing to let me go this time, Su Baijie, owe you a favor, and I will definitely repay you with my life in the future. Hearing Su Baijie's words, Dongfang Yuan was a little surprised. He really didn't know why Su Baijie escaped from the central holy continent to the sea, but from what she said, it seemed that there was something more hidden. I don't need your favor, Dongfang Yuan said. Then what do you want to do? Su Baijie was a little angry. She really didn't understand what Dongfang Yuan wanted to do. I think you saw it too. The concubines of this emperor's harem are not ordinary people. Su Baijie, I like you very much. I want you to be my wife and give birth to children for me. It's as simple as that. Dongfang Yuan replied calmly. Have children? Ha! Dongfang Yuan, are you afraid that you will die? Don't you know what my status is now? You still want me to give you children? Su Baijie said, feeling a little funny. The emperor really doesn't know. But I only know that no matter you or Shinro or the others, as long as they become my women, I will protect them for the rest of their lives. No matter who they are, they cannot be bullied. Dongfang Yuan's face became serious, and he spoke extremely firmly and affirmatively. He exuded such a domineering emperor that he couldn't help but make Su Baijie change his inner view a little bit. You really don't know who I am? Su Baijie asked doubtfully. Dongfang Yuan shook his head. Su Baijie was silent. She was lost in thought. After a while, she said, Dongfang Yuan, I admit that your character, coupled with your evil talent and strength, are indeed very attractive to women. Even I was a little shaken. But please believe me, being with me will only harm you, and even your entire Tianyan Dynasty. At that time, your Tianyan Dynasty will cause real disaster. Su Baijie spoke with sincerity and a serious expression. Dongfang Yuan stared at her, held Su Baijie's hand, and said seriously, the disaster you are referring to is the nine-tailed fox clan. If that's the case, you don't have to worry. No matter what force is in Zhongshengshu, even if the emperor comes, they can't do anything to you. Su Baijie was a little shocked and felt that Dongfang Yuan didn't know how high the sky was. Great emperor. Does Dongfang Yuan know the gold content of this? Where did he get the confidence to say such a thing? It seems you really don't know my identity. That's all. Now that it's time, I'll tell you. So that you can truly give up. Su Baijie opened her mouth and told Dongfang Yuan about her true identity and why she escaped to the sea. According to Su Baijie's words, Dongfang Yuan learned, it turns out that Su Baijie is the third princess of the nine-tailed fox clan. Because she was born by a maid and her mother died early, Su Baijie is not welcomed in the clan, and 30 years ago, her father wanted to use her to marry into the Golden Elephant clan, and the marriage partner was the young master of the Golden Elephant clan. The young leader of the Golden Elephant tribe has a very bad character and likes to flirt with women. Rumor has it that he even raped his cousin, and the family relationship is very messy. Su Baijie was naturally very reluctant. It's a pity that this is a marriage between two major forces, and she can't help it. In the end, Su Baijie could only find an opportunity to escape from the marriage. He left Zhongshengshu directly and fled to the sea. This escape lasted 30 years. She met the master of the Tiandi Pavilion in the sea. In fact, the master of the Tiandi Pavilion was a woman disguised as a man. The two of them hit it off very well and immediately became very good sisters. In the eyes of the outside world, Su Baijie is the wife of the master of the Tiandi Pavilion. In fact, both of them are women. Moreover, Su Baijie has never revealed her real name. Outsiders only call her Mrs. Su, but they do not know her real name. After listening to Su Baijie's words, Dongfang Yuan truly understood why Su Baijie said that being with her would cause big trouble. She escaped from marriage. The nine-tailed Divine Fox clan and the Golden Elephant clan did not give up looking for her. After searching for Zhongshengshu, I'm afraid they will find the sea area. If the two major forces knew by then, Su Baijie would become Dongfang Yuan's woman, the Golden Elephant clan will definitely be furious, and they will definitely send strong men to trample the Tianyan palace and destroy the Tianyan dynasty. You should know now. I am a disaster. If you get me, you will feel comfortable for a while, but you will regret it for the rest of your life. Su Baijie said with a sad expression. When Dongfang Yuan heard this, he put the fruit plate aside, then, with a wave of his hand, the restraint on Su Baijie's power was released. Su Baijie, whose cultivation base was lifted, I don't feel very happy or excited at the moment. Instead, I feel a little lonely and helpless. As expected, I still have my own fantasies. Yes, after all, these two forces are so powerful that few in Xianzhou dare to provoke them, let alone the small Tianyan dynasty. Su Baijie felt conflicted and lost inside, and her inner feelings were special and indescribable. She was about to get up and leave, but in the blink of an eye, Dongfang Yuan appeared in front of him, and he had already taken off his upper body clothes. You. Just as Su Baijie was about to say something, she was kissed directly by Dongfang Yuan. Su Baijie's eyes widened for a moment, the whole person stayed as confused. Dongfang Yuan had quick eyes and quick hands, and without leaving his mouth, he directly picked up Su Baijie and slowly walked to the bed. He gently placed Su Baijie on the bed, grabbed Su Baijie's forearms with both hands, and pulled them to both sides. Dongfang Yuan looked at her with sincere eyes. Su Baijie's heartbeat quickened, she felt her blood burning, and the temperature of her skin rose rapidly. I also want to tell you. Su Baijie, if you become the Emperor's woman, neither the Nine-Tailed Divine Fox clan nor the Golden Elephant clan can do anything to you. If anyone wants to hurt you, I will definitely send him to hell first. You have to trust your man. Dongfang Yuan's tone was domineering, sincere and firm. At this moment, it deeply touched Su Baijie's heart. Su Baijie also looked at him, with a slightly moved expression on her face. She touched Dongfang Yuan's face with her delicate and smooth hands, and finally asked, "Don't you regret it?" In my entire life, Dongfang Yuan, once I make a decision, I will never regret it. Dongfang Yuan said firmly, "This is the end." Su Baijie had no worries at all. She took the initiative to kiss him, her lips and tongues intersecting with him, and she kissed Dongfang Yuan wildly and passionately. She felt Dongfang Yuan's love for her, felt Dongfang Yuan's true feelings, and was willing to have sex with him. Tonight was the most unforgettable day for her. If you get this man's promise, you will die without regrets. P.S. Thank you brothers for the reward yesterday. The author calculated that yesterday's gift should be about 40 yuan. Thank you brothers. Chapter 95 Crisis in Tiandi Pavilion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 5 days later, today's Tianyan Dynasty has unified the entire northern territory, and Dongfang Yuan's prestige has spread throughout the country. No force dares to disobey the Tianyan Dynasty's jurisdiction. At this time, inside Dongfang Yuan's bedroom, this battle lasted for 5 days, and it was a long and continuous battle. It's not as gradual as Xiao Qingli or Qian Xinro. The methods of Dongfang Yuan and Su Baijie were simple, rough, and extremely wild. As a monster, Su Baijie had this primitive barbaric tendency, and instead liked Dongfang Yuan's rough treatment. On the jade bed at this moment, Dongfang Yuan was lying on his back. With his upper body naked, Su Baijie's hair was a little messy and she leaned against his chest with a satisfied expression, holding Dongfang Yuan under the quilt with both hands. It was as if relying on him made me feel safe. Both of them were awake. Dongfang Yuan touched Su Baijie's hair, looked at her slightly rosy face, and said with a smile, "Jie, you are so beautiful." Su Baijie smiled shyly and said coquettishly, "Humph, no matter how beautiful she is, you will eat her dry and wipe her dry. You big bad guy. Ha 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 ha. I am not the only one who enjoys the benefits of my efforts." Dongfang Yuan laughed openly, stretched out his hand, and hugged Su Baijie tightly. Su Baijie was willing to be held by him. After thinking for a while, she said, "What are your plans next? Is the Tianyan dynasty going to enter the sea?" "Yes. The emperor has made arrangements, and I have also received accurate information. Now the Yantian Pavilion is summoning the powerful people in the pavilion. If this situation continues, we should be able to attack Tiandi Pavilion within a month. Dongfang Yuan said calmly. As early as not long after the reunification of the Northern Territory, he arranged for King Tianyu to enter the sea area as his vanguard and help him first detect the news in the sea area. Yantian Pavilion. No, the current Tiandi Pavilion cannot stop Yantian Pavilion's attack. Su Duo has already died in the hands of Yan Lighting. I can't just watch Tiandi Pavilion be destroyed by him again. Su Baijie's attitude became extremely serious at this moment. Dongfang Yuan also learned about it from her before. Su Duo, the pavilion master of Tiandi Pavilion, was poisoned by Yan Liting's fire. After being rescued by Su Baijie, he eventually died tragically due to the lack of antidote. After Yan Liting was seriously injured by the master of the Tiandi Pavilion, he had been in seclusion to recuperate. Recently, it has broken through. As the master of Yantian Pavilion, Yan Liting naturally planned to take revenge on Tiandi Pavilion after he came out of seclusion. The strength of Yantian Pavilion is higher than that of Tiandi Pavilion, which is the main reason why Su Baijie wants to obtain the sun and moon treasures so much. Seeing Su Baijie so anxious, Dongfang Yuan hugged her and comforted her. Jie, don't worry, with me here, everything will be fine in Tiandi Pavilion. That mere Yan Liting is only at the level of the great saint. If Fei Peng or Chong Lu take action, killing him would be as easy as killing a chicken. After hearing Dongfang Yuan's words, Su Baijie felt relieved. Thank God I've you. But if you kill Feng Gutian, the people of Donggu Holy Land will probably not let you go. The Eastern Ancient Holy Land is no better than Yantian Pavilion. They are a superpower in the sea area, second only to a few ancient tribes and those monster masters. They must not be underestimated. Su Baijie reminded with concern. Don't worry, the emperor knows it well. By the way, I actually have a question that I've been curious about. Logically speaking, you are the extreme ice holy body, an extremely rare existence even in Xianzhou. How could your father be willing to use it as a tool for marriage? Dongfang Yuan was very curious about this. He had experienced the charm and taste of the extreme ice holy body before. It is different from the overlap of cold and warm in the Eucharist. That kind of feeling can only be understood but cannot be expressed, but this is not the point. Even the nine-tailed divine fox clan must attach great importance to such a physique as the extreme ice holy body, but it was strange that Su Baijie's father was willing to take her out for marriage. Speaking of which, it's fate that plays a role in people. My extreme ice holy body was awakened after I escaped from my marriage. I didn't even know that my body was still a holy body before. Su Baijie said. I see. Dongfang Yuan also wanted to laugh a little in his heart. If the nine-tailed fox clan knew that they were going to send a holy body out for marriage, they would not regret it afterwards. Jie, since you have become the emperor's woman, I will naturally not treat you badly. Come on, this is for you. Next, I will also canonize you as concubine Su, and let Xuanhuan tell the world immediately. Dongfang Yuan took out the inheritance of the sun and moon holy emperor and gave it to Su Baijie. Dongfang Yuan would never be stingy with his women. Thank you B. Oh no. Thank you, your majesty. That when Su Baijie saw Dongfang Yuan being so generous, she responded coquettishly with gratitude, and took the initiative to sit on him, face down, and give him a kiss. Seeing this, Dongfang Yuan's hands were not idle. He directly crossed his hands and hugged her waist, and instead of kissing her passionately, he decided to do it again, in broad daylight. Dongfang Yuan's palace once again became a forbidden area. Sea area. On an island group in the inner sea of the sea, there is a Tian Shan mountain floating in the sky, surrounded by clouds and mist. Here is one of the famous holy places in the sea, Donggu Holy Land. At this time, above the main hall of Donggu Holy Land, the three guardian elders at the same level as Feng Gutian, Wan Qi, Li Yike, and Wang Chu, all sat in the hall with solemn and gloomy expressions, and at the top, there was an old man sitting. The hooked nose, triangular eyes, and dark expression give people a very sinister feeling. This person is Ling Jiuyou, the great elder of Donggu Holy Land. Only the existence of the Holy Lord of the Eastern Ancient Holy Land. Elder Feng's life tablet left in the Holy Land is cracked. I asked his disciples that the last place he went to when he left the Holy Land was the Northern Territory. In other words, Elder Feng died in the Northern Territory, that at this time, Ling Jiuyou said with a heavy tone, the death of a guardian elder is definitely not a small matter for the entire Donggu Holy Land. Great Elder, this is the news obtained by the Holy Land spies from the Northern Territory. Please take a look. As the head of the 4 guardian elders, Wan Qi also handed a piece of communication paper to Ling Jiuyou at this moment. After Ling Jiuyou took it and looked at it, he frowned slightly. Tianyan Dynasty, Dongfang Yuan. Elder Feng died at the hands of this force. Back to the Great Elder, this matter is basically certain. I don't know what means Dongfang Yuan used to increase the strength of the Tianyan Dynasty to an extremely astonishing level in a short period of time, and unified the Northern Territory. The 4th child's apprentice and daughter returned to Fengyun's sect to visit relatives, but were captured and killed by the Tianyan Dynasty. The 4th child probably went to the Northern Territory to seek revenge. I just didn't expect that the Tianyan Dynasty would be so extraordinary. Even if he went there in person, nothing would happen. Wan Qi reported seriously at this moment. Among the 4 guardian elders, Feng Gutian's cultivation is the worst, but even so, it is absolutely invincible in the Northern Territory, and he died. This also means that within the Tianyan Dynasty, there are existences above the 7th level of the Great Saint Realm. This force is really a bit too mysterious. Chapter 96. On the eve of entering the sea, the girls were shocked. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tianyan Dynasty, Dongfang Yuan unified the Northern Territory in just a few months. He does have some skills. In this case, I, the elder, will go there myself. Ling Jiuyou was just about to make a decision when suddenly, Wan Qi received another message at this moment. His expression changed and he immediately said, Elder, this is news from the Yi family. The head of the Yi family invited the elder and the Holy Master to go to Murong Coast to attend the meeting with the Yi family. Young Master, the engagement ceremony with the eldest lady of the Murong family. Yi family, Murong family, these 2 families are considered ceiling-level forces in the entire sea area. The 2 ancient clans have millions of years of heritage and foundation, and they also have the invincible Holy Emperor at their command. Their status in the sea is an unshakable transcendent existence. The Yi family and the Murong family. That's all, let Dongfang Yuan live a little longer. The Holy Master is currently in retreat at a critical moment, and I can only go there alone. During this period, the 3 of you are sitting in the Holy Land. You must not cause any trouble. If anything happens, wait until I come back. After thinking for a moment, Ling Jiuyou said to the 3 of them. Yes, Great Elder. Wan Qi and 3 others responded at the same time. Tianyan Dynasty, after Dongfang Yuan handed over the inheritance of the Sun and Moon Holy Emperor to Su Baijie, he relied on his extraordinary comprehension. In less than a week, Su Baijie absorbed all the inheritance of the Sun and Moon Saint Emperor, broke through 3 realms in a row, and reached the 4th level of the Great Saint Realm. The strength has increased greatly. During this period of time, Qian Shinrou's belly also began to show signs of slowing down, becoming slightly rounder than before. In these 7 days, Dongfang Yuan has actually arranged everything. Today's Tianyan Dynasty consists only of the officials in the court and the generals in the army. The total number of saints in the realm has exceeded 100. He left 300 million elite troops to guard the Northern Territory, and, saint-level officials in charge to prevent unrest. 8th day, finally. Dongfang Yuan's last wait was finally completed. Xiao Qingli finally came out of seclusion, when he saw Xiao Qingli for the first time. Dongfang Yuan was shocked. Xiao Qingli, relying on the 9 nether soul guiding array, actually directly promoted his cultivation to the 7th level of the Saint King realm. Same as Medusa. And compared to Medusa, Xiao Qingli's combat power is not bad. She has the experience of becoming an emperor in her previous life, and she even practices the legendary emperor-level skills. If compared to her, except for her physical fitness, Medusa is still slightly inferior in other aspects, and Xiao Qingli now has the heart of the 9 nethers. As long as she is given time to accumulate, the chance of her 9 nether divine body evolving into the 9 nether immortal body is very high. At this time, the backyard of the palace, Dongfang Yuan called the girls together, and he and Xiao Qingli finally arrived at the same time. Your Majesty, Sister Xiao. Qian Xinro and Han Wanxiang also bowed slightly to them, especially now that Xiao Qingli's cultivation has become stronger, coupled with her demeanor and temperament that were once enemies. The sense of oppression is still strong. After Xiao Qingli arrived, she nodded, and then glanced at Su Baijie. She couldn't help but said, I didn't expect that you would take another one in just a few days while I was in seclusion. Dongfang Yuan stood next to her and smiled calmly. My emperor is affectionate and loving by nature, so there is nothing we can do about it. Come, let me introduce you. Su Xinjie is the person behind the current Haiyu Tiandi Pavilion. This is the emperor's main palace, Queen Xiao Qingli. Su Baijie knew that Xiao Qingli was extraordinary, and she was detected by her soul perception in the first place. Xinjie has met Sister Xiao. Su Xinjie saluted. Don't be too polite. The holy ice body is very good. In the future, I will guide you in your cultivation, and your cultivation will improve by leaps and bounds. Xiao Qingli said with satisfaction. Xinjie, thank you Sister Xiao. Su Xinjie said very gratefully at this moment. Okay, Your Majesty. What do you plan to do by calling us here? Could it be that you want to be here with us? Han Wanxiang hesitated to speak at this time, with a leisurely smile on his face, but judging from her tone, it was obvious that she was joking. Okay. If you are willing, of course I can do it. I can do it at any time. You all come together. Within half an hour, you will all see blood. Dongfang Yuan also followed the words playfully and joked. Giggle. Your Majesty, we are all pregnant with dragon children now, you can't touch us, Han Wanxiang said coquettishly. Xiener, you are so weird. Next time, let Baijie and Xinro teach you. There's more than just one place that can make a man obsessed. Dongfang Yuan said directly without being shy. Han Wanxiang looked confused and found that Qian Xinro and Su Baijie had secretly covered their mouths and laughed. At this time, Xiao Qingli was still more serious and interrupted him. Okay, stop joking. What's the purpose of calling us here? Dongfang Yuan's face became serious now. Today, I have summoned all the concubines of the emperor to come here to take you to a place. Where? Xiao Qingli asked directly. Hey, you'll know when you get there. Don't resist, just relax. After Dongfang Yuan finished speaking, he condensed his fingers. A force began to spread out with him as the center, covering all the women. None of the girls resisted, and just followed his words and relaxed their minds. The next moment, Dongfang Yuan and all of them disappeared completely in an instant. When they reappeared, what caught the eyes of the girls was a huge floating island. There are splendid and majestic palaces on the island, as well as peaks, mountains, streets, attics, cities, etc. It is simply like a small world. At the end of the surrounding area is the endless starry sky, as if they are outside the star realm and separated from the northern territory. Their figures were all standing in midair. Below them, Xuanhuan, Tai Poyan and the Tianyan Dynasty's nearly 10 million troops had already been rehearsing formations on the school grounds here. In addition, the members of the Destruction Legion and the Blood Rain Legion are also active on the other side. The girls looked at the scene in front of them, and their hearts were shocked. Everyone, including Xiao Qingli, was shocked. Chapter 97 The Weird White Tiger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Your Majesty, what is this place? Qian Xinro looked around with shocked eyes and asked in surprise. This place is called the Secret Realm of Nothingness. It is a small world that I control. I can be free from space. In it, I am an invincible existence. Even if the great emperor comes, I still have to kneel down. Dongfang Yuan smiled slowly and said calmly. What? Small world. Su Baijie was also extremely shocked. Even though she had been in Xianzhou, she had only heard that some super strong people in Xianzhou had mastered several movable secret realms in the cave, but even so, it is definitely not a small world, and its scale is definitely not as huge as the Void Secret Realm. Xiao Qingli calmed down her mood, and then asked, what level is this secret realm? Hey. The Void Secret Realm is a legendary secret realm, second only to the Chaos Secret Realm. Dongfang Yuan said with a smile, secret realms are also divided into levels, they are, Cave Heaven level, Holy Heaven level, Legend level, and Chaos level. These 4 levels are divided into, those giants and powerful men in Xianzhou, if they can master a cave-level secret realm, they are already smoking from their ancestral graves, not to mention the Holy Heaven level and Legend level, that's something they can't access. Xiao Qingli was shocked when she heard Dongfang Yuan's answer, even. Though she was an emperor in her previous life, she had only heard of the legendary secret realm and had never seen it before. Unexpectedly, now my man has mastered it. In this way, she really doesn't have to worry about any dangers that Tianyan Dynasty will encounter. There is a legendary secret realm as their trump card. Even if they provoke the emperor now, they still have enough escape routes. Your Majesty, are we going to stay in the secret realm of nothingness and then head to the sea? After the girls learned about the power and function of the Void Secret Realm, Qian Shinro also asked immediately. After all, within the secret realm of nothingness, the top officials of the Tianyan Dynasty, as well as the generals and soldiers have all entered. Dongfang Yuan's purpose is also obvious. Good. The emperor has already arranged everything in the northern territory. Next, our goal. That's it, the sea area. The direction from the oriental abyss to the sea. The next moment, he controlled the entire secret realm of nothingness, shuttled directly through space, and headed for the sea. In the palace of the void and secret realm, Dongfang Yuan sat leisurely on a chair, fishing quietly. Qian Shinro and Su Baijie sat next to him, feeding him fruits. Han Wanxiang and Medusa stood behind, squeezing his shoulders. The 4 women took turns serving him, making Dongfang Yuan feel very happy. At this time, Xuanhuan suddenly came to report. It's not good. It's not good. Your Majesty. Problem occurs. Xuanhuan hurried over and said. Don't worry, if you have something to say, just say it. What could happen in here? Dongfang Yuan closed his eyes and thoroughly enjoyed the massage services of the women. He didn't take Xuanhuan's words seriously at all. After all, in this secret realm of nothingness, he is an invincible existence, and it is not an exaggeration to call him a god. No matter what it is, it cannot be ignored. Your Majesty, the Emperor, the Queen and, Your Majesty's White Tiger are fighting. The Queen even threatened to kill the White Tiger and roast it and eat it. Xuanhuan reported with a nervous expression. What did you say? When Dongfang Yuan heard this, his eyes opened suddenly, and he jumped up, and the fishing rod was overturned. Chapter 98 Xiao Qingli, who stepped into the Holy Emperor, arrived at the sea. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He was confused and confused. What kind of situation is this? White Tiger and the Queen got into a fight. It's absolutely true, Your Majesty. General Feipeng and Chonglu Zongzong couldn't stop them, so I rushed to inform His Majesty immediately. Xuanhuan said hurriedly. Be a good boy, my emperor's harem is not in chaos, but this pet is in chaos first. Dongfang Yuan also immediately cast a spell to control the power in the secret realm of nothingness. With a wave of his hand, a space force caused ripples, and Baihu and Xiao Qingli, who was full of anger and looked like he was about to kill someone, appeared on the square one after another. I kill you. Xiao Qingli's temper exploded, and a force comparable to the peak of the Saint King realm was struck directly from her palm. Not to be outdone, the white tiger's thin and white body was grabbing the air with its fangs and claws, and terrifying beast lights were also blasted forward. Stop it all, my emperor. As soon as Dongfang Yuan pressed his hand, 2 powerful and irresistible secret realm forces fell directly from the sky, isolated by Hu and Xiao Qingli, and dissipated all their power. After Dongfang Yuan took action, Baihu and Xiao Qingli stopped. Qian Shinro and Su Baijie also leaned over and advised, Sister Xiao, calm down, and tell me what you have to say. Han Wanxiang and Medusa leaned towards the white tiger to prevent them from fighting again. The white tiger looked cute, scratched with his paws, jumped directly to Han Wanxiang's chest, and was hugged by Han Wanxiang. The white tiger had a happy face and pressed against the 2 huge mountains in front of Han Wanxiang with a happy face and great enjoyment. Dongfang Yuan couldn't help but feel a little confused at this moment. My dear concubine, what's going on between you and Xiao Bai? Why are you still fighting? Xiao Qingli suddenly stared at him and said angrily, it's not your fault. What did you teach him all day long? Dongfang Yuan. Dongfang Yuan stood there with a confused look on his face. He hasn't taught it anything. Xiao Bai, what's going on? Tell me. Seeing that Xiao Qingli was angry, Dongfang Yuan looked at Bai Hu, who was being held by Han Wanxiang, and asked. Yee. Yeah, oh. Bai Hu stood on Han Wanxiang's hand, babbling, and then pointed at Dongfang Yuan's and Xiao Qingli's buttocks. Of all the people on the field, only Dongfang Yuan, as the master, knew what it was saying. At this moment, Dongfang Yuan was only embarrassed in his heart, and his face couldn't help but twitch, and several black lines appeared on his forehead. Your Majesty, what is Xiao Bai talking about? Su Baijie asked curiously at this moment. Although the white tiger is a mythical beast, it is still in its infancy at this moment, equivalent to a child of several years old. Except for its owner Dongfang Yuan, it has no way to communicate perfectly with other people. Dongfang Yuan's face twitched, and he didn't know how to explain it for a moment. There was no way he could say that Bai Hu was curious and climbed to the roof of the palace and saw him playing games with Xiao Qingli. It turned out that this forced child was also curious, and secretly peeing on Xiao Qingli's clothes when she was practicing wasn't enough. When Xiao Qingli was changing her clothes, this guy even imitated Dongfang Yuan and stole her clothes and hid them. This immediately angered Xiao Qingli, and he seemed to want to kill it on the spot, thus starting a big war. The most important thing is that Bai Hu didn't realize that there was something wrong with him at all. He was just like a child, learning whatever he saw. Whatever you learn, you want to try it. What a headache. Dongfang Yuan scratched his hair. He was good at teaching women, he really doesn't know how to teach children this. Bai Hu was still lying in front of Han Wanxiang at this moment, feeling so comfortable that she almost fell asleep, but Xiao Qingli, on the other hand, had an angry look on her face, no matter she was angry with Bai Hu or Dongfang Yuan. My beloved, please calm down first. Xiao Bai's intelligence has not yet fully developed, and he still doesn't understand some things. I'll ask Medusa to teach him well. Dongfang Yuan waved his hand and signaled Medusa to take the white tiger away quickly and teach him a lesson. Medusa also took the white tiger and took it down. Xiao Qingli was still angry and didn't want to talk to Dongfang Yuan, so she turned around and left. Wait a moment. My beloved concubine, come with me, I have something to give you. Dongfang Yuan intervened in time. Xiao Qingli stopped and said aloofly, what is it? You come with me. Shinro, Baijie, please ask someone to put away my fishing rod. Dongfang Yuan said. Yes, Your Majesty. Later, Xiao Qingli also followed Dongfang Yuan. Dongfang Yuan took her to the dormitory. If you have something, just tell me. After entering the door, Xiao Qingli also said directly. Stand still and relax. Dongfang Yuan said extremely seriously. Although Xiao Qingli was still a little angry, she still listened to Dongfang Yuan's words, relaxed. System, use the last unlimited cultivation improvement card, and the character used is Xiao Qingli. Dongfang Yuan asked the system to use Tao directly in his mind. There were originally 10 cards for unlimited cultivation improvement, Xuanhuan, Tai Poyan and Tianyu King each used 3, and now only 1 is left. Dongfang Yuan originally planned to leave this piece to Xiao Qingli. If her cultivation can be improved, it will also be very beneficial to the children she will give birth to in the future. System, in use. System, use completed. After the system's voice sounded, Xiao Qingli's cultivation level continued to soar and break through. The 8th level of the Holy King Realm, Saint King Realm 9th level, the pinnacle of the Holy King Realm, the 1st level of the Holy Emperor Realm. Xiao Qingli's realm was directly fixed at the 1st level of the Holy Emperor Realm. At this terrifying speed of improvement, even Xiao Qingli herself had a look of shock on her face. It feels incredible. Dongfang Yuan was also a little surprised. He didn't expect Xiao Qingli to be so lucky. A random improvement card actually improved her cultivation to 4 levels. allowing her to immediately enter the realm of the Holy Emperor. This was obviously something he didn't expect. What method did you use? Why did my cultivation level break through so much all at once? Xiao Qingli asked with surprise and curiosity. Hey, this is your man's secret, I can't tell you. Dongfang Yuan pretended to be mysterious and pretended to be secretive. Cut. Xiao Qingli pretended to be disdainful, but it can be seen that she is still in a good mood at this time. Her cultivation has reached the first level of the Holy Emperor realm, and her true combat power is enough to completely defeat the fourth level of the Holy Emperor realm in Xianzhou. It can be said that in today's Tianyan Dynasty, her strength is the closest to Dongfang Yuan. Dongfang Yuan hooked his fingers at this time, and a force directly pulled Xiao Qingli over. Chapter 99 Inland Sea, Bingyun Holy Dynasty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dongfang Yuan hugged her directly and let her sit on his lap. Xiao Qingli was not displeased and let Dongfang Yuan hug her. Does it hurt? Dongfang Yuan leaned against her ear and said softly. Xiao Qingli felt a numbness all over her body, her cheeks turned red, and she shook her head slightly. Xiao Bai is still ignorant and doesn't understand anything. I'll ask Medusa to teach it well so that it won't be the same next time. Dongfang Yuan comforted him. Okay, I know. I was too angry at that time, so I got a little impulsive. Xiao Qingli's temper had completely subsided at this moment. Dongfang Yuan smiled and turned his body to the front, kissing Xiao Qingli's mouth. Their lips and tongues intertwined. Xiao Qingli gradually became addicted, and it took a long time for their lips to separate. My beloved concubine, no matter where she is, she always tastes sweet. Dongfang Yuan smiled slightly, and then hugged Xiao Qingli to the bed. Xiao Qingli was lying on the bed. When she saw Dongfang Yuan starting to undress, her face became nervous and she hurriedly stopped her. What are you doing? It's daytime. And I'm still pregnant, so that can't be done. Hearing this, Dongfang Yuan smiled faintly. What's the point? Just learn from Shinro and the others. And who stipulates that this kind of thing can only be done at night? Dongfang Yuan didn't care and grabbed Xiao Qingli's hands. Xiao Qingli still felt something was wrong. No, this time is not suitable. You. Before Xiao Qingli could react, Dongfang Yuan had already blocked her mouth. Sea area, on the outer sea, on the island group of Tiandi Pavilion, I saw that above a cloud top, the space suddenly split open. Dongfang Yuan, Su Baijie, Medusa, Xuanhuan, Feng, and Chonglu all walked out of the inner space and stood on the top of the mountain. They looked around and saw that the island group was surrounded by blue ocean, an endless sea. Your Majesty, those palaces and pavilions are the heaven and earth pavilion. At this time, Su Baijie pointed to the Tiandi pavilion not far away and introduced it to Dongfang Yuan. There were not many of them, and including Baihu lying on Dongfang Yuan's shoulder, there were only 8 of them. As for Xiao Qingli, Qian Shinro, and the others, some were resting in the secret palace of nothingness, and some were raising their babies, because they were going to experience some fighting and killing. Dongfang Yuan did not intend to let them participate too much, to prevent the fetal gas from moving and affecting the child in the belly. In that case, let's help concubine Su solve the trouble in Tiandi Pavilion first, and then start our Tianyan Dynasty plan. Prime Minister Xue, go find King Tianyu and ask him to give me a copy of all the information he has collected so far. Arrow God, go to the inner sea to find Su Bai and see how the investigation went after the emperor asked him to investigate. Dongfang Yuan ordered. Yes, your majesty. Arrow God and Xuanhuan said together. Immediately, the two of them left in different directions. Dongfang Yuan led several people and followed Su Baijie into the area of Tiandi Pavilion. The attic hall of Tiandi Pavilion is very large, and the number of disciples is also in the millions. As the wife of the pavilion master, Su Baijie led people in personally. So naturally no one dared to disrespect Dongfang Yuan and the others. After arriving at the hall, Dongfang Yuan took the main seat, while Su Baijie and others sat beside him. Baihu lay on Dongfang Yuan's lap, bored and dazed. Not long after, a beautiful woman with a slight trace of age on her face, but a hot and sexy figure, wearing a purple dress, had her own unique charm. She walked in with several female elders from Tiandi Pavilion. Sister Su, Who are these? After the woman in the purple skirt came in, she looked at Dongfang Yuan who was sitting in the chair. She looked confused and asked Su Baijie. Sister Feng, this is His Majesty Emperor Yuan of the Tianyan Dynasty, and the one I love most. Your Majesty, this is Feng Qian, the deputy master of the Tiandi Pavilion that I mentioned to you before. As for the others, they are also the elders of Tiandi Pavilion. Since the death of Pavilion Master Su, the Tiandi Pavilion is now supported by a few of us. Su Baijie also opened her mouth to introduce each other to both sides. Feng Qian and her group were all shocked when they heard that Su Baijie had become Dongfang Yuan's woman. After all, in their impression, the Northern Territory is a remote place. How powerful can a dynasty emperor there be? But when Feng Qian planned to spy on the cultivation level of Dongfang Yuan and his party, but she was shocked to discover that the cultivation of these people was unfathomable. With her cultivation at the first level of the Great Saint Realm, even Bai Hu, who was dozing on Dongfang Yuan's lap, could not detect a trace of her cultivation. May I ask, what are your cultivation levels? Feng Qian asked very carefully at this moment. Dongfang Yuan smiled indifferently. At this time, Su Baijie next to him interjected, Sister Feng, Your Majesty, and the others are all at the Saint King level. Don't underestimate them just because they are from the Northern Territory. What? Holy King Realm. Your Majesty Xuanhuan, I was rude earlier. Don't blame me yet, that when Feng Qian and the others heard that Dongfang Yuan and the others were experts at the Saint King level, they were immediately shocked. He who knew the current affairs bowed his head and saluted Dongfang Yuan. Dongfang Yuan said calmly, You guys are welcome. Baijie is the emperor's concubine Su. I also heard her say that when she first came to Tiandi Pavilion, several people and the late master of Tiandi Pavilion took good care of her. This emperor has also remembered this friendship. This emperor will take action to help Tiandi Pavilion solve the Yantian Pavilion's troubles this time. That when Feng Qian and others heard this, they were all excited and happy. His Majesty Xuanhuan is willing to take action, I am extremely grateful. Feng Qian expressed her sincere thanks. Afterwards, they also sat down one after another. Sister Feng, what's going on in Yantian Pavilion in the past few days? Su Baijie asked at this time. Feng Qian said with a serious face, Yan Lighting summoned all the powerful men from Yantian Pavilion this time. According to rumors, he even seemed to have invited a prince from the Bingyun Holy Dynasty to come and help. This time, it should be with great determination that we want to eradicate our Tiandi Pavilion at once. Now they are ready to go. The shortest time should be within these 3 days. Bingyun Holy Dynasty. What kind of force is this? Fei Peng sat next to him and asked curiously when he heard the name. The Bingyun Holy Dynasty is a powerful force in the Inner Sea. The king of the Holy Dynasty is a strong man at the second level of the Holy King realm. In addition, there are several ancestors who are in seclusion, all at the Holy King realm level. It can be said that the Bingyun Holy Dynasty is a powerful force in the Inner Sea second only to the Holy Land. Su Baijie explained, P.S. I added a small chapter yesterday. If you urge me to update, please give me free gifts. Thank you all. Chapter 100, Raising Someone Else's Wife is a Beast. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I see. After hearing Su Baijie's introduction, Fei Peng nodded, but looking at the calm look on his face, it was obvious that he didn't take it to heart. By the way, Pavilion Master Feng Qian, your Tiandi Pavilion is also a relatively powerful force in the Outer Sea. Have you ever heard of Murong Shui of the Murong family? At this time, Dongfang Yuan suddenly asked. His next target is Murong Shui from the Murong family. Like Xiao Qingli, she is the reincarnation of the Empress and has awakened her memory. Dongfang Yuan led the Tianyan Dynasty into the sea this time. In addition to dominating this area, the most important thing was to bring Murong Shui into the palace. Murong Shui. Your Majesty Emperor Yuan, of course we have heard of Murong Shui. She is the eldest lady of the Murong family. The Murong family is one of the ancient clans. She is the apple of the eye of the head of the Murong family, and her status is extremely noble. And during this period, the Murong family and another ancient clan, the Yi family, are going to hold a marriage ceremony, and the person to marry is none other than Murong Shui and the eldest son of the Yi family, Yi Chen. Feng Qian answered in detail. Oh. Murong Shui wants to marry Yi Chen. That when Dongfang Yuan heard this, he couldn't help but frown. Yes, Your Majesty Xuanhuan, this marriage between the two ancient clans is a major event that shakes the entire sea area. Many prominent figures in the sea area have all been invited, and many holy lords from major holy places have also been invited, Feng Qian continued. Do you know the specific day when the marriage ceremony will be held? Dongfang Yuan asked. Just kidding, how could he allow others to snatch the prey he was targeting? When Su Baijie heard Dongfang Yuan ask these words, she also felt a subtle connection. I know that the Murong family is now promoting it with great fanfare, and the specific date for the marriage will be held in half a month. Although Feng Qian didn't know why Dongfang Yuan was asking about this, it was a matter that everyone knew, so she didn't worry too much and told him directly. After hearing this, Dongfang Yuan nodded, already making a plan in his heart. The two ancient tribes are going to hold a marriage ceremony, and most of the powerful people above the sea will definitely gather there. By then, if you kidnap the bride, you can not only destroy the marriage, but also completely make the Tianyan Dynasty famous. In the room of Tiandi Pavilion, Su Baijie arranged a gorgeous bedroom for Dongfang Yuan, and the two of them sat on the bed. Su Baijie leaned against him and asked slowly, Your Majesty, what happened when you asked Sister Feng about Murong Shui earlier? Do you like her? Dongfang Yuan did not hide anything and admitted generously, yes, the emperor is indeed interested in her. So the marriage between the two ancient clans can only fail. Dongfang Yuan's tone was firm. From his words, Su Baijie could tell that after the matter at Yantian Pavilion was settled, Dongfang Yuan would go to the Murong family. You have just come to the sea area, and you have provoked the ancient tribes so early, and there are two of them at once. Isn't it too early? And, Your Majesty, do you know Murong Shui? Su Baijie asked softly, leaning against Dongfang Yuan's chest. Dongfang Yuan hugged her fragrant body, grabbed it with his hands naturally and skillfully, and said with a smile, Don't worry, I know it well. As for Murong Shui, her life experience is not simple. She is the same as Qingli. She was once the supreme empress who dominated a galaxy. Now she is reincarnated. If it can also assist my emperor in his great cause, then why should I worry about failing to achieve great things? Dongfang Yuan pinched Su Baijie's nose, looked at her worried look, and comforted her. Jie, don't worry. Just because I accept Murong Shui doesn't mean I will neglect you. Look at Xinro and Wanxiang. They are all equally exposed to rain and dew. They are all satisfied. You don't have to think too much. Su Baijie's neck turned red, she crossed her legs behind Dongfang Yuan, pressed against him tightly, and said a little shyly, Your Majesty, you misunderstood. Just seeing Sister Xiao and Xinro and the others like that, I also want a child. Dongfang Yuan looked at her with affectionate eyes and said with a calm smile, Jie, in that case, I will satisfy you. Dongfang Yuan kissed her directly without saying a word. Su Baijie crossed her arms and hugged Dongfang Yuan's neck. The latter stood up directly, planning to try something new. Yantian Pavilion. Yantian Pavilion is a relatively powerful force in the outer sea, and the strength of the strong men in the pavilion is much better than that of Tiandi Pavilion. At this time, above the main hall of Yantian Pavilion, Pavilion Master Yan Lighting and Great Elder Yan Ziming were both sitting in the main hall. In addition, there is a middle-aged man wearing brocade clothes, who looks extremely luxurious and impressive. This person is Luo Xianliang, the seventh prince of the Bingyun Holy Dynasty. Brother Xian, please come here in person this time. I, Yan, will bear this in mind. Yan Lighting thanked Luo Xianliang sincerely at this moment. It doesn't matter, it's just destroying a heaven and earth pavilion, it's a trivial matter. But let's talk first, Brother Yan, you also know my preferences. That's Feng Qian and Mrs. Su. I heard that these two women are beautiful and have their own unique charm. So when the time comes, I have to take these two people away. Luo Xianliang smiled. He kept more than 700 beautiful young women in his palace, some of them were exchanged by him, and some were stolen by him. In short, Luo Xianliang had a strong preference for other people's wives. In the Bingyun Holy Dynasty, he, the seventh prince, even has the title of young woman killer. To him, no matter how beautiful a girl is, she is not as comfortable and enjoyable as an experienced, mature and stable beautiful woman. Ha 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 ha. Don't worry, don't worry. Brother Xian, let alone those two people, even the other women in Tiandi Pavilion, you can take as many as you want with you when they fall. Yan Lighting said with a smile. At this time, Yan Ziming received a message, and he immediately said, Pavilion Master, the 9th elder and the 13th elder have led the last group of disciples back. Now they have been assembled and are all on standby on the warship. Okay. That's it. Brother Xian, let's set off. Yan Lighting stood up and said happily. Walk. Luo Xianliang then stood up and headed to the warship with them. Dozens of huge warships from Yantian Pavilion were launched and headed straight for Tiandi Pavilion. As one of the top forces in the outer sea, Yantian Pavilion mobilized its entire force, with millions of disciples, and even the great saint realm personally leading it. The movement was extremely huge. There are also many maritime warriors, and they are also paying attention to this war. The warships of Yantian Pavilion have set off. Dear me! It's such a huge formation. It seems that Yantian Pavilion is determined to destroy Tiandi Pavilion this time and will not give Tiandi Pavilion a chance to breathe. I just saw a man in brocade robes standing side by side with Master Yan Pavilion on the warship in the middle. Could he be the 7th prince of the Bingyun Holy Dynasty? I've heard a long time ago that Master Yan Pavilion invited a royal dignitary from the Bingyun Holy Dynasty to come to help. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be the young female killer Luo Xianliang. I'm afraid the Tiandi Pavilion is really over now. Luo Xianliang is at the 6th level of the Great Saint Realm. If he is placed in the outer sea, only the two strongest forces in the outer sea, the two pavilion masters of Beihai Pavilion and Tianshui Pavilion, can defeat him. This Tiandi Pavilion is going to be doomed next. It's a pity that there are so many good-looking beautiful women and elders in it. When I think that they are about to fall into Luo Xuanliang's hands and his little pets are tortured, I feel heartbroken. Are you going to pull me down? Does that look on your face mean you are heartbroken? I think you are envious, jealous, and hateful, right? Yantian Pavilion's attack triggered discussions among many warriors in the outer sea. Most of them regretted that Tiandi Pavilion would be gone, and many people rushed to Tiandi Pavilion immediately, wanting to witness this power war.